one trip to Wembley already secured. Arnold's pursuit of double domestic club glory has moved 300 miles southwest today to Plymouth Argyle, who are bottom of the championship. They are Liverpool's FA Cup fourth round opponents today. We wait to see how strong the boss, there he is, has gone today. We'll have the team news the very second it's released. That will be at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Will Joe Gomez and Curtis Jones as well be involved today? They are both part of the travelling squad this afternoon. It is Plymouth against Liverpool in the FA Cup, and we've got live audio commentary with Steve Hunter and Phil Thompson on the way at kick-off, which is 3 p.m. this afternoon. Yeah, welcome along to today's Matchday Live from wherever you are joining us today. Plenty of people tuning in from all corners of the globe this afternoon as this Arne Slot era continues to deliver some stunning results. With me in the studio today and anticipating, I think, a fair few changes from the 11 who put 4 past Spurs on Thursday, Neil Mellor and Nigel Spatman. Nigel, this is a harsh way to start the show, but you of all people know about banana skins in the early rounds of this competition because you were maybe part of a squad that was part of an FA Cup giant killing, weren't you?
Yeah, not early on. It was in the final, losing to Wimbledon back in 1988 to do the double, and Wimbledon beat us 1-0, which when everybody brings it up, it's not very nice.
I'm very, very sorry.
Thanks for that, Becky. I'm not talking to you for the rest of the afternoon.
Oh, come on, you're going to have to
for
at least an hour.
Yeah.
Give me an hour.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shock, but I don't see there being a shock today. I think, whatever team plays at home park today, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, well, listen, on paper, and as we know, games are not played on paper, but on paper, Miles, it looks pretty simple, this one. Liverpool obviously flying, Plymouth not so much, and their priority, of course, is staying in the Championship.
It is, but it's also an opportunity for them to have a massive result. And you think about the confidence a victory over Liverpool would give them for the remainder of the season. To maybe stay in the Championship, this is the second season they've had in the Championship. They struggled last season, they're struggling now, they are bottom of the league. We're flying. We're absolutely flying. We've got a cup final to look forward to. We won the Champions League group. We're top of the Premier League. And we're expecting changes. And even though we're going to make a number of changes, there's a feel-good factor around the football club where the players coming in will want to maintain the momentum. There's not been as many shocks. You know, when you look at shocks, you start thinking there's not been that many shocks. A couple of scares, wasn't there, yesterday in terms of City against League One opposition, Birmingham as well, causing Newcastle problems. But there you go, it's sitting pretty at the moment. And that's the big thing as well. You've got to remember we've got some big Premier League games coming up. We've got a run of, in the next 2 weeks, 5 Premier League games coming up, so I think that will alter the team selection today.
Yeah, as we are saying, Plymouth struggling, of course, at the wrong end of the Championship. Let's just see how it stacks up for them. Nigel, they're on their 4th permanent manager in 13 months. We'll speak about the relatively new boss in a little bit. I mean, this is clearly a massive occasion for them today, but as we say, they've got bigger things on their mind than the FA Cup.
Absolutely, but as Neil says, really, if you beat Liverpool or have a good performance today, it can really push your confidence up. But they're coming to the game with plenty of confidence, having been a 1-0 down against West Brom, and then they turned it around 1-2-1, so they get another 3 points on the board. The new manager seems to have brought in new ideas. So they're turning their season around. I mean, you look at that table, and really with the goal difference, they're still 5 points from safety. But I think if you get that sort of understanding of what the manager wants, you put that on the field, the biggest test is going to be today against Liverpool. And the one thing for the Liverpool players today is this is going to be in-your-face football. They're going to be in and around you, trying to be physical with you, and you've got to deal with that early on, and then hopefully the football will take over.
I think the question is as well, will they go full strength? You know, their priority is to stay up. We've seen a number of Championship teams. They've made a lot of changes this weekend in the FA Cup. Plymouth might do the same. Got Millwall on Wednesday night. It's a big game. They play all those teams at the bottom between now and the end of the season. Some big games left for them this season.
Yeah, but you want to play against the best team in the country, don't you? The best team in Europe. Manager, please play me today. You know, and that's where you test yourself against the best. And the manager who comes into this, we've been reading about him, which is quite interesting. He wants to put himself on the map as well. And if it gets a result against Liverpool today, it puts him right up there.
Certainly put him on the map, wouldn't it? OK, thanks, guys. We're going to make our first visit down to Home Park now, where Mark Benstead is with former Plymouth boss Ryan Lowe. Mark.
Afternoon, Becky. 2017, the last time Liverpool were here at Home Park. That game was also in the FA Cup. It was a third round replay. The Reds won by a single goal. But so much has happened to both clubs since then. Just two survivors in the Liverpool squad from that game to now, Trent and Joe Gomez. For Plymouth, well, they've had a couple of promotions and 5 managers. 4 of those managers were Scousers, and one of those Scousers is with me now. Ryan Lowe, former Argyle boss, is our guest for Matchday Live today here. So many memories for you. What was it like to be part of things here at Home Park?
Yeah, it's a very unique club, Mark. It's a fantastic fan base. Down, right out the way, as you well know, that the travel, the distance is very far, but great ownership, well run, great fan base, and yeah, we were part of, well, let's say history. We wanted to have a plan of 5 years to get to the Championship. I done my bit for 2.5 years. Stephen Schumacher done his bit for 2.5 years, and here they are now, languishing down the bottom, which is sad to see, really. And hopefully the new manager can get them out the dumps. But yeah, it's a fantastic place and a fantastic club.
How much did you enjoy your time? Because you did have success, albeit part of it was through those weird kind of COVID times, so I guess takes away part of it. But yeah, how enjoyable was your time down here?
You know what was enjoyable? It was fantastic. You know, obviously we got changed in the changing rooms there. We ate above there. The training ground just at the back. It was a different, you never had your own training ground, but that brought us all together. We trained on the pitch sometimes. The fan base down here helped massively to get them where they needed to get to. So yeah, listen, I loved my time down here for the 2.5 years, but then obviously got a call off Preston North End to go 36 miles from my house rather than 300. So yeah, it was an opportunity I couldn't turn down, but I'm still close with the chairman. I was out having a couple of shandies with him last night. He's a fantastic guy, Simon Andrew Parkinson, who we all know very well through Liverpool connections. Yeah, it's a unique club and a fantastic club.
You mentioned the location, the distance. Did it ever become an obstacle for you as a manager, trying to entice players down? Because sometimes players can be put off. They don't know where the place is. They don't know the name. They go, nah, I'm not going there.
Well, when you look at Plymouth Argyle on the map and you see it right down the bottom, you're closer to France than you are to where we were getting our players from. But I must say, I don't know what it was the first year we come down. We recruited very well and smartly, which got us promotion from League 2 to League 1 at the first attempt. And I think they bought into the project, and obviously the chairman and the CEO, Andrew, played a big part in that. And what we could offer, you're coming all the way down. We were paying decent money for League 2 players, and yet they bought into the project. And listen, there's still, I think there's 3 or 4 maybe still here from our time in League 2, and League 1, which was pleasing. But we didn't really have any difficulty in getting them down, if the truth be known. Maybe that was the charm and the patter to get them here. But I think they bought into the project, and as you've seen, it's a lovely place in the country, and it's a fantastic stadium now. New stand which got built was amazing. That was nearly half done when we come. So the facilities are getting top Championship facilities as we speak.
They are a Championship club at the moment. That's where they hope to try and sort of solidify their position. Difficult position for them at the bottom of the table after poor results when Wayne couldn't quite get a tune out of them. But you've managed in that division a couple of wins back to back. Some of the complexion changes, so it's not all doom and gloom.
Well, the FA Cup game today against Liverpool obviously is a bonus for them, and it's a great game to have Liverpool down here, and they'll embrace it. I'm sure they will. They're going to give it a right good go, but the main priority is to stay in the Championship. Obviously a change of managers, couple of change of managers since me and Stephen Schumacher left, which is always tough to try and find that balance. Wayne had some great ideas to do what he tried to do. He just couldn't get a tune out of it. Obviously Miron's come in now, and you see the changes. So their main priority is to stay in the Championship, and I wish them all the best in doing that, because we had a plan with the chairman, the CEO and the board of directors to be an established Championship football club, and they've got there. They've just got to try and establish it and stay there. And I think Wednesday's a big game for them against Millwall. If they can get 3 points there, it changes all what's going on down the bottom half of the Championship. But yeah, as you said, you get 2 or 3 wins on the bounce in the Championship, it can take you out the relegation zone, and that's what I'm wishing for them for.
Great stuff, Ryan. Plenty to come from Ryan through the course of today's programme. Yeah, league business put on hold for today, though. It is worth pointing out, in the Cup so far this season, they already have taken 1 Premier League scalp, and that should not be ignored. They won at Brentford in the last round.
Thank you very much, guys, and we're going to enjoy some double Mark Benstead action now. Earlier on, he spoke to Kevin Kelleher, who knows Plymouth are going to do everything they can to make things very tough for Liverpool today.
Kevin, the games come thick and fast, the competitions come thick and fast. What are the challenges when you have to go away to a lower league side in a cup competition like you do this weekend?
Yeah, I think obviously it's going to be difficult. it's obviously a massive game for them. Us coming there is going to be huge. Fans are going to be ready for us. They're going to be ready. So listen, I think it's going to be a tough game. Obviously, we want to go there and get a win, but we kind of need to be ready for a tough game as well.
Yeah, they've had a difficult season, bottom of the Championship at the moment. I guess they're looking for moments where the pressure can be off them, and I guess this weekend becomes one of those. The big team are in town, you can turn it on in front of your own supporters, and that's where the pressure comes, the danger comes, possibly.
Yeah, of course. I think, like you say, maybe they're not having the best season, but I think that kind of goes out the window really in a cup tie. Like you say, they might see it as a chance to ignite their season and get something going, especially with us coming into town as well. It's going to be a massive day for them, so we know they'll be well up for it.
This group have been a good cup team over recent season. We saw it again in midweek against Spurs. What has been key to that, do you think?
Yeah, we have. I think the last few seasons we've obviously got to some finals. We won some finals. I think it's just the mentality within the whole group is always spot on. We want to win every game we're involved in. I think that's kind of the mentality. We just take it game by game, and obviously we're a difficult team to beat in competitions. We want to win every competition we're in. So it's just that mentality to go out and win every game.
You have the League Cup on the horizon now. That's sort of boxed off for a few weeks down the line. Can you take something from that? Does it help sort of further fuel the appetite for more success and more progress in the other cup competitions like this one?
Yeah, I think obviously, look, we're happy with the League Cup now. We're in the final, but like I say, it's a few weeks away now, so that'll be on the back burner, and then the focus will go towards the Cup and the League as well. So we have important games in both. So all focus will be on that. We won't take anything for granted, and we want to get obviously more trophies than just the League Cup. Real
hunger within the squad, but it's throughout the squad, and we've seen the manager utilise the group really effectively so far this campaign. Have we got to a stage now where it's almost seamless, players come in, players go out, but the level of performance and the type of performance is constant? Yeah, I think definitely the manager alludes to that a lot in his meetings with us as a squad, that everyone needs to be ready to step in, everyone needs to play their part, and he shows us all the time that there's times in the season when you have injuries or certain situations like that where squad players as such need to come in and do their bit as well. So listen, we train how we play, we're always on it every day, and then that breeds good intensity into the squad, and everyone's ready to step up if needed.
Yeah, Quavian Kelleher had a very, very quiet night on Thursday. Spurs literally with not one single shot on target, Mel's, in that game. Are you expecting him to be involved today? I think Alisson, we all agree, probably won't be involved, but Vítězslav Jaros potentially could be too? Yeah, maybe, yeah. I mean, for Quavian, he's done really well when he's been called upon. Again, he's one of the best number twos there is around, and a bit frustrating for him. He hasn't maybe had more game time. Alisson's missed games this season, which has allowed him that game time. Great the other night in terms of everything he needed to do. So switched on, no shots on target to deal with. But listen, every time he plays, you always trust between the sticks. He'll be there to make an important save if needed. I think Plymouth will have a shot on target at some point, better than Spurs the other night. We will remind ourselves, we will get the team news in just a moment, but let's just remind ourselves first of the last round, which of course was against Accrington Stanley. And Nigel, it's fair to say the boss's approach so far has been to mix youth with experience. Yeah. And in this round maybe went a little bit stronger than a lot of people anticipated. Still starts for the likes of Trent, of course, Dominic Szoboszlai as well, Diogo Jota too. Yeah, and I think also playing at home, you can play your senior players, it's a comfort zone. Away from home, it's a little bit more of a danger. You get an injury or something like that. But I thought Liverpool played very well. The same as they've done in the Carabao Cup, changing it. I did the Southampton game where they got the mixture of the experience and youth. What a goal this is, what a strike that is. But all round, I just think that the manager just brings the best out of the players, and he seems to do everything right. And talking about the goalkeeper, Kelleher, I think he's been absolutely outstanding. You have to have a real high mental ability to come in and play games when you know really if Alisson's fit, he's going to come back in. And I think, to have him, we're very, very lucky as a club. I think the strength of the squad is evident. Yeah. Obviously you can make a number of changes, and it doesn't weaken too much. The fact that you can get through lesser opposition, Accrington being one, you're hoping again today, a number of changes will be a case of utilising the squad, managing the minutes for some of your key players who are going to be needed in some big Premier League games, and it being good enough to get through some of these games. And this will be a tricky game, but you think even though we can make the changes, the squad is strong enough to cope with it. OK, thanks, Miles. We are going to go back now live to Mark and Ryan. They have got the Liverpool starting lineup. Many changes today, Mark?
Thank you, Becky. Yeah, well, as expected, the manager does look to utilise his squad for today's game, as he did in Eindhoven a week or so ago, with the games coming thick and fast. He's trying to give players a break when he can. So it is pretty much wholesale changes from the last match. There are 10 alterations in total by Mike Quick. Only Kevin Kelleher survives from the last outing. And they line up then with Kevin Kelleher in goal once again. Joe Gomez comes back into the side, his first appearance since the game away at West Ham in late December. Wataru Endo is in from the off today. He turns 32 today. Happy birthday to him. Luis Diaz gets a start. Fede Chiesa is in from the off as well. Harvey Elliott is in midfield. Diogo Jota starts this afternoon. Kostas Tsimikas as well. James McConnell makes his second start of this season after impressing in Eindhoven. Jarell Kwanzaa plays as well, as does Trey Nyoni. He has just one start prior to today. This is his sixth appearance in total. On the bench, it is Vítislav Jaros, Darwin Núñez, Curtis Jones, Trent Coney-Doherty, Isaac Mabea, Amaro Nallo, Rio Ngamoa, James Norris, and Renell Young, who is a young right winger. He's included amongst the subs today. Ryan is back with me pitch side here at Home Park. It's the kind of team we thought we would get today. A few senior players, but a smattering of younger lads given opportunity either in the starting 11 or perhaps to get minutes off the bench.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's the right call also, obviously, with the games coming thick and fast and the derby on Wednesday. You'd like to think the squad there is capable of getting a result and getting through to the next round. So, yeah, it's good to see it freshened up, and it's good to see, obviously, Jota playing centre forward and, Gomez back, which gives us a big boost. So I think it's a good choice.
And as a manager, I appreciate you didn't quite have the same level of resource to chop and change at the previous clubs you were at, but you have to take opportunity, don't you, to rest certain players at certain times, given the relentless nature of football at times, particularly at a club like Liverpool, where the games are coming week in, week out, and they're of a level where you have to win.
Well, we're coming to nearly the back end of the season now, where we need to make sure we have all these players fresh, like your big hitters, and it's important that they get that rest. I'm sure if you wanted to ask them, they'd want to all play every single game, but I think the manager's doing a fantastic job in rotating that and keeping the freshness when needed. Again, we speak about Wednesday night, how massively important that is, a local derby, and bragging rights and everything else, and more points to add to the board to continue our journey to try and win the title again. So, yeah, it's massively important to rotate the squad when needed, and it gives some of the youngsters a fantastic opportunity, because I think some of them are definitely capable of playing at this level. And eventually, you've seen Dan's now go out to Sunderland, and, you've seen players that have gone out to Championship level. And this could be a good stage for them to showcase what they're about for further in the future, for when they do get loaned out to come back and represent Liverpool. So it'll be a big test. I think Plymouth will come out firing on all cylinders, so it'll be a good test for the youngsters, yeah.
It's interesting you mentioned Jayden Dance. He, of course, scored in the last round, has subsequently gone out on loan. James McConnell, in contrast, after impressing so much in Eindhoven, has been retained. What are the pros and cons of staying within a group, or keeping a player within a group, or being sent out on loan and getting that kind of championship experience?
Well, I think the manager's obviously kept McConnell in for obvious reasons, in terms of he's a midfield player who can play in and around there, and Dan's, there's some strikers back now, like Jota's back. If Jota was still being injured, I think Dan's would have stayed in, but it's a fantastic opportunity for Dan's to go to Sunderland, who are on the verge of potentially a promotion themselves. Fantastic lad. I've known Jayden since a young boy. I played with his dad, actually captained my Berry team that got promoted. So that the connection there is great. It's nice to see him doing very well for Liverpool and hopefully for Sunderland. But I think obviously the manager's made that choice to let him go and play some games. He was injured for a short while, weren't he? So once he gets back fit and running and scoring goals, then he's going to be a big asset for Liverpool Football Club, I'm sure.
Trey Nyoni's another one who gets an opportunity today. It's a big show of faith, isn't it, to put him in the middle of that park in a game like this, where he knows it's going to be so competitive. It's a sort of testament to his temperament more than anything else, as well as his ability.
Well, do you know what, Mark? In this type of world and this environment in the Championship, totally different to the Premier League, as everyone probably knows. So if you can't cope in these type of situations, how are you going to cope with 60,000 at Anfield? So it's good that the manager's throwing the trust in the youngsters to put them in and play at the right occasions and the right times and the right clubs, of course. But, if all these youngsters have got big opportunities, and if they're going to have careers at Liverpool Football Club, then they've got to come out shine, they've got to do the job. And that's what we're all hoping he can do.
Jota was a name you picked out as well. Is it fair to say, if we can keep him fit and firing, he offers something that little bit different to some of the other forwards?
Yeah, that's why they call him Jota the Slotter, don't they? He's got that ability to score goals from you know, different areas in the round. His cleverness in the box. He's the next best thing for me from Robbie Fowler was when he was at Liverpool, clinical, that type of finishing. And it's good to have him back fit, because for the running now, we're going to need him, because he's definitely going to score goals.
I was going to say, he's the player that if you had to hang your hat on someone to come on late on in a game to nick something for you, it would probably be him, wouldn't it?
Well, he's some strikers go on 1 and 2, 1 and 3 chances, and he's 1 and 1, if you ask me. He very rarely misses the target. Jota, touch wood, he scores today, but he very rarely misses. He knows his technique, his ability and his guidance of putting the ball where he wants to put it. He's a very clever footballer, and as I say, he's a brilliant goal scorer.
Just finally, looking at how we'll line up at the back, maybe it looks like it'll be Wataru Endo's slot back in there to play as one of the centre halves. Have we seen enough in his times there that he can quite comfortably play in that role, though we know him more as a holding mid?
Yeah, he can, and he's done that. I think from looking out from him, you know, in championship games are different, so he's going to come under a lot of pressure today. I think Mustafa Bunder's playing up front, and Ryan Hardy will just play off him now. Bunder will be big and strong, and he might go direct, and they'll try and hit him in seconds, so he's got to now compete in the air, which he's only small, so he's going to be in for a test of that. And then he's going to have legs in Ryan Hardy running behind Quansah and Endo, which will probably be a difficult afternoon for them, if the truth be known. But they've obviously got that quality that, you know, will shine through at times, and hopefully they can shine through the quality and they can come out with the result. But it's going to be an interesting afternoon for them at the back, yeah.
Great stuff, Fran, yeah, and that is Liverpool's team then for today's class. We'll be back in a few minutes' time with the details of our host, Plymouth Argyle, as well.
Thank you very much, lads. Yeah, the boss going with what we thought he would, a mixture of some experience and some youth players as well. You had a guess at predicting this starting 11 on the preview show on Friday. It's a tough one to try and predict, but is it pretty much what you're expecting, Mel's, I think?
Yeah. Again, we mentioned the strength of the squad at the moment, and then you're looking at players who maybe need minutes. You know, I wasn't sure whether Joe Gomez was ready to start. Clearly he is, and that's great news to see him back. He hasn't started a game since the turn of the year. I think West Ham was his last game time, so great to have him back. How long will he last for? Will it be 45? Will it be an hour? I think you look at the bench and think there could be players to come on maybe as well if needed, you know, at half time. So Luis Diaz starting, because there's so many big Premier League games around the corner. You think, can we do enough in that first half and have the luxury maybe to take off a Luis Diaz or somebody like that at half time? But great to see the young players starting as well. I thought McConnell was absolutely outstanding against PSV in that championship. He was superb, and maybe because he was so good, he didn't go out on loan. You know, the window's now closed, and teams definitely wanted him, so he stayed. He gets himself a start. Trey Neone as well, young player, a little bit younger than James McConnell, but enormous potential. I think he started, was it Southampton, a little bit earlier on in the League Cup this season. So the young players are doing well, and these are the games where they got that opportunity, but they want to be around senior players. Yeah. And they've got that today, which is great. Yeah,
Miles has said it there, but when you look at the fixtures coming up, some massive games, and this is probably the last one in a while where the boss can afford to rest a few names. Yeah,
but you know, Becky, at this stage of the season, you get to February. Kenny used to say to us boys, you win nothing until you get to April. You know, that's when you've got to be in there with a chance. And all these games to come, you've got an international window in March as well. So you've got to get to the international window, and there's so many games crammed in. Champions League are come back into it as well. So you need your squad. You need to get players having minutes on the pitch, getting them up to pace. And I'm with you. I think today that you'll see some of those players come up maybe at half time or after an hour. But every game, and there's no bigger game than Wednesday night at Goodison, you know, the final Merseyside derby at Goodison, they're going to be flying for that, and everybody knows that, and I think the manager has been told that, he understands that, and that's why you see this mixture of players today. But they're still good enough to go out and win this game today. It's great to see Joe Gomez back. Does he play right back? Does he play centre back? Quansah needs minutes on the pitch and get more confidence back in his game. But Chiesa, for me, who all the supporters are wanting to do well, he's got to now start showing at the business end of the season that he's ready to come in and play if needed. If somebody gets an injury, you've got to be ready for it.
I think there's goals, isn't there? You look at the front three. You mentioned Chiesa, Jota as well. Great to have him back. Probably should have scored the other night with that header from the Szoboszlai cross. So
didn't need it though.
Didn't need it, no. But Luis Diaz. So you look at them and saying, you can rest Gakpo, you can rest Salah, and these players can come in these games so that the other boys will be fresher. But there's enough quality there for all of them to be too good for Plymouth today. We hope.
Yeah. Let's speak about Federico Chiesa, because he's obviously getting up to full fitness now, and he's a player that I think that the fan base is so excited to see him when he is in full flight, getting ever closer to that, Nige.
Yeah, well, I've watched a lot of him because I do Serie A. and at Juventus he was in and out of the team, but he's never fully recovered from the ACL injury he had. He was Italy's best player at the Euros when they won it, and he had a terrible injury, and he's found it very, very tough to get back. And I think when we signed him, I did say at the start of the season, if we can get him back to his fitness levels, he is a real quality player. But how long is it going to take him to get there? And I think we're still waiting for that, and he's still waiting for that. But I think the manager, Arne Slot, has really handled it very well with the medical people. Give him a little taste, take him out. Is he ready to step it up? No, he needs more training. But now, as I've said, into February, March is coming. He needs to be on the field, getting more and more minutes on the pitch. And unfortunately, he's got a lot of talented players in front of him, so he's going to have to be, waiting for his chance. And today, he gets a chance.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, as Nigel says, he's played at very top levels, so he won't want to just be a bit part player in the squad. He will want to be forcing his way into the starting 11 for the biggest games of the season. But I suppose performing well in games like this that's the first step onto that.
Yeah, he's got a part to play. There's no doubt about that. There is competition for places. I think when you're coming back from an injury and you're wanting to get back up to speed, you don't want that pressure of having to be at the top level, and he's not had that because the other players have been playing. Salah's been doing the business, Gakpo, Diaz, they've been doing the business, so it's not like we need you to be doing the business. So he's sort of been eased in. He got that goal against Accrington, that was great, won the penalty at PSV. So you're thinking today, if there's a goal scoring moment, whether it's an assist or a goal, he may well be the man to provide that.
Let's speak about Trey Nyoni as well, because I know with the academy you've watched a lot of him. 17 years old. I mean, it's only his second game with the club after being in this competition last season against Southampton when he started that game. And what an opportunity and what an afternoon lies ahead for him as well.
Well, like so many at the academy, it's thriving at the moment. Enormous potential. He really is. We signed him from Leicester. He had little taste last season. And albeit we were in the Europa League, so a little bit more opportunity last season, more difficult this year because it's Champions League, but still being in and around the squad. Again, at 17, maybe a little bit too young to go out and experience that loan. Highly thought of. Great energy in midfield. He'll look to get on the ball. He'll look to press with his energy. He'll look to play the passes forward as well. So he's a great talent, but I think he'll be delighted to have Chiesa, Jota, Diaz to be able to provide that ammunition for the attacking players today.
And James McConnell as well, you said, Mel's, obviously that there was the debate, maybe Nigel, he might be sent out on loan. I think the boss said after that performance against PSV, he was not going out on loan because he was so impressed with him, and another big opportunity for him today.
Yeah, and I think the big thing is if you impress the manager by doing well on the pitch. You can do it all in training, but when you're asked to go out and do it in the big games, that's what catches the manager's eyes, and he's done that. And I think he could play a very important part to the end of the season, especially in this competition, because he's done well. I think he's learning on the job, but as Mel says, around him he has so many experienced players to help him. I mean, it's the same with Nyoni, who played at, I watched him at Southampton in the Carabao Cup early in the season. He played very well, but did everything safe. And I think once you've played a couple of games now, you've got to try and express yourself that little bit more. And I think O'Connell's starting to do that, and looking forward, getting his head up, trying to play the passes. But, when you look at it, he's quite a disciplined player if you need him to be. He sits more and tries to get on the ball and make things happen from there. Lovely temperament
and attitude about him. And credit to him, because he's done so well, he's now playing for Liverpool rather than maybe somebody in the Championship on loan.
OK, thanks, lads. Time now to say goodbye to our viewers watching on social media right now. If you do want to stay watching, though, head to the address that is on your screens right now for details on how to sign up to LFC TV. It is liverpoolfc.com/watch. After the break, there is more build-up on its way, including Arne Slot's press conference ahead of the game. Then at 3 o'clock, we've got live audio commentary for you of every kick of this fourth round tie. Then at 5 o'clock, Phil Thompson will join Mel's and myself for all the post-match reaction. Later on tonight, you can hear that post-match show as a podcast. The reaction will drop this evening after the game. Then from midnight tonight, the full match replay is available on LFC TV. And then tomorrow night, Inside, which features all the best behind-the-scenes action from Home Park, will land on YouTube and on Facebook as well. So Liverpool are in town, and that means millions of fans all over the world looking at Plymouth today. Francis Drake is their most celebrated son, but they need a new home hero. They've not beaten a top flight team in the FA Cup at Home Park for more than 63 years. We're back with the details of how they line up soon.
Give the ball, he score every time. You pass, no look pass. Cuidado aí. Hey. This is Valentina.